Steve Carlisle, President, General Motors Canada. Thanks for doing this again.
No problem. Glad to do it.
So, great year. You ended 2017. I think you're one of the fastest growing brands, right? General Motors?
Yeah, well, we finished #1 at retail
Yeah.
in Canada last year for the first time in several years, so we're very happy about that.
And what's growing? I guess you have so many new utilities, right?
Yeah.
Which is, the cadence is perfect for the market.
Right. Trucks, across the board, trucks and sport utilities, crossovers. We had a lot of good launches last year with Equinox and Terrain and Traverse and Enclave and so on. So good availability and
so people can go into the dealers and buy them. There's not a backlog of getting them?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
All right, now big news here, new pickup truck. So give us a sort of 30,000 foot view of this new Silverado.
Yeah. Well, if I start at the top, significant mass reduction, so it's down by about 450 pounds, just over 200 kilos. At the same time, growing in wheelbase, about 4 inches, and in overall length, only about 1.5 inches. And all that translates into a lot more space and utility for the consumer, but still terrific fuel efficiency. And we also announced that we'll be including a 3-liter inline six-cylinder diesel, which people have been asking for years, so we're very happy about that. A lot of good new functionality in the box with the powered tailgate, new tie downs, more space, high strength roll form steel bed, so a lot to be excited about with the new
I like
truck.
the way General Motors, you say steel where there needs to be steel, right?
Yeah.
And aluminum where you need to use aluminum.
Yeah, it's a mixed material strategy, we call it, and our first real foray into that was the CT6.
Yeah.
But you find that in the truck now, where there's 8 different kinds of high-strength steel in the cab structure. Aluminum swing metal, so the hood and the doors and the tailgate, where the consumer has to heft that around. But high-strength steel where we need it, because it's a working
truck,
kind of a tool, a truck. So you want it to be strong and durable, including in the box.
How are car sales going? I mean, the industry is suffering with slower car sales. I mean, there's a few winners in most categories. How are you guys doing?
It's a similar story. It's steady, so it's not like the segments are going away. They're just getting smaller, growing more slowly than the truck and crossover segments. With the notable exception of our plug-in electric vehicles, where between the Volt and the Bolt EV, which is in its first year, we sold over 6,000 units. So
and there was a lot of emails I got from people saying, I can't get one, because early in 17 you couldn't get a Bolt, and then they started coming more readily.
That's right. Yeah. So to some extent, that's a reflection. We're launching the product and trying to find where the demand is, but it's improved as time goes on. So we're committed to, meeting the demand, in a way that's sustainable. It's a basic thing. But in the end, it amounted to about 2.1% of our mix. Well, the industry's running at between 0.5% and 1%.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
We're very encouraged that we're starting to gain traction on electrification.
So do you think, obviously, with the Volt and now the Bolt with such great range, I got 420 kilometers, by the way.
Right on.
Yeah, it was perfect weather. I didn't have the AC on or the heat, so it was in the spring, and I was really impressed with it. That that first to market advantage with Chevrolet with those cars, and then there's a lot more to come. We haven't heard what they exactly are going to be. I'm guessing a utility of some kind. We're hoping.
That's a reasonable guess.
Yeah.
If I were guessing, I might guess that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You do. So how advantageous is that first to market advantage? You and Nissan with their Leaf, for example.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important for a number of reasons. One, from a consumer point of view, a lot of this is just understanding the technology and appreciating the merits and that kind of thing. I think another one is from a development point of view. You can't really improve this technology unless you're actually doing it. And I'll take cost as an example, where we're still, half to 2/3 of the way to where we need to get to, where battery electric vehicles are a good economic proposition. So
for you as a manufacturer.
Yeah, and for the industry, as far as I know, if you look at dollars per kilowatt hour, right, we're, I think generally $145 US is the current benchmark, and we know we need to be sub 100, right? So the only way you're going to get there is by doing. So I think the longer that you're actually doing that and learning, the faster you're going to get better.
And
how do you thought about it?
How do you think you're going to do this year, now that there's rumors that Tesla might be able to up ramp up production. I don't think they're going to get to the numbers they were hoping for, but Bolt seems to be doing very well, especially in the U.S. market.
Yeah. Well, and in Canada, we over-indexed on Bolt EV versus the U.S. So the government incentives have helped a lot in Quebec and Ontario and British Columbia. But like I say, 2.1% of our mix is way higher than anywhere else, by anybody else. So I think it's one of those things where competition and choice, I believe, will increase the popularity and the acceptance of the technology, and that to some extent everybody benefits from that, because a lot of the people need to see them to be comfortable with them.
Yeah.
And so the extent to which that happens is great. We're very confident with the product and the feedback that we're getting on it. So we're looking for bigger things out of the Bolt EV.
I'm going to change gears,
okay.
Pardon the pun. General Motors brand, the reliability, the dependability of these cars is often misunderstood in the marketplace. I know because I follow this closely, and you win more, I think, JD Power dependability awards than any other brand, and you have such high ratings for brands like Buick, and I think your in-dash tech is so simple and easy to use. Like you get into a Chevy product and you start playing around with the head unit, you got to figure it out in about 3 minutes. And so how do you get that message out there that GM makes some great cars?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a common getting the message out there in our communications, but it's as much of getting people into the cars. And I think changing how we go to market too. So we're doing a lot more online and digitally, where we have the flexibility and the opportunity just to break down the story into, here's this technology, how it works, here's the durability story, and so on. So that's I'd say that's a significant area of focus, is finding
and you
new
do that
ways
with the advertising, the guy with the beard, and he does a good job with that. Telling the story.
Yeah, the real people, not actors, that whole thing.
That whole campaign.
We ran that. Since then, we've shifted in Canada over to Canadian Dream, including for Chevrolet at the nameplate level, and it's more getting Canadians to tell the story, right? Like real Canadians telling the story about what the product and the technology does for them. So, and so far so good on that one. We've had a really good response on our cruise, the cruise spot that we're running, and Equinox. So, but that's an example. We do that, on TV, but then also through social media and online. Right. And so far, so good.
So you were very close to taking Ford for the overall title of. I think they had more overall sales. You're saying you sold more retail. They did more fleet, I guess, is what you're saying. But the momentum, the wind is at your back, especially with all these new utilities and a brand new truck. Right. So do you think you could pip them at the wire next year and get your #1 spot back?
Well, we're not shooting to be #2.
No. By the way, Silverado, when is it coming?
Later in the year, like
when is it,
fourth
George?
quarter. Before we see
it'll be late in the fall.
In the fall.
In the fall, before we start to see good availability. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Zach.
Appreciate making the effort every year at the auto show. So thanks for that.
Likewise.
Steve Carlisle, everybody.
Appreciate the support.
Well done.
Thanks.